Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to TheStreet Live. I'm Jeff Marks, Senior Portfolio Analyst at Action Alerts Plus, standing live on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Jim Cramer. Jim, we got to talk some of the big earnings of the day, but before we do, markets are higher again, as we did see Pfizer, their vaccine get approved yesterday. A lot of China stocks are rallying today, 2 days in a row. What are you looking at specifically in the market?
I think that Xi doesn't want to ruin the market, so what he's been doing over and over again is he takes it down in the name of common prosperity. It gets low, and then he says, okay, it's fine. I mean, the fact that this is happening and people trust that market is ridiculous. Kathy Wood back in it. But I said last night, look, 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to rally. And then he'll come back and he'll hurt you again because he doesn't want you to make money. He doesn't want new deals. He just wants is he trying to entrap you in this? Not necessarily. We happen to have Win. We'll talk about that on our proprietary commentary after this video. But I guess my overall feeling is that this is day two of belief that somehow the full approval of Pfizer is going to change the world. And I think it's nonsense. I think that without the Regeneron drug being emphasized, with the anti-vaxxers being so vociferous, with the Texas governor saying that you have no right to stop people, to command people to get vaccinated, that this is overdone to the positive, but that's the way this market's been. It overdoes it, whether it be Alibaba up 9 or whether it be every stock that reported this morning, Best Buy up 6, taking it from that idea that did anyone think their numbers were going to be bad? No, but the numbers were extraordinary. So the reactions are, I'd say, exacerbated by the fact that there's just so many people who didn't think things could be this good.
Yeah, now before we get into Best Buy, it's funny, Jim, because yesterday we were talking about, usually in the market it's buy the rumor, sell the news. But yesterday it was buy the news after that the Pfizer vaccine was approved. So, and you took to Real Money talking yesterday how that move, it kind of was quizzical, but I mean, look, the markets are higher. So I guess my question to you is, when you're analyzing the market, do you think this move anything more? Is it anything more than the Pfizer vaccine? I mean, we are seeing a lot of the travel and leisure stocks really rebound hard.
Yeah, well, I will say that Dr. Gottlieb, whom has been my true north, came out yesterday and he said we've seen the peak of new peak of new illness, and that now it's all on the downhill. I don't necessarily agree with that because I think that schools will be a place where you'll get a lot of super spreading. But I think that Dr. Gottlieb's been so right that there'll be a lot of people who say, you know what, this is my chance. I've been waiting for COVID to peak in this country. It's peaking, and now we got Pfizer. I just want to buy something. Give me something to buy, and give me something that involves economic growth. Yesterday was an economic growth rally. By the way, if there's really economic growth, you should go buy Union Pacific. All right? I mean, let's not fool around. That is the economic growth stock that we have. Go buy United Parcel. There's plenty to buy that's down big if you really believe that we're going to have enhanced economic activity.
Yeah, so that transport of goods, a railroad, a parcel, delivery company.
Union Pacific was up barely yesterday. That's such a buy. And I mean, take a look like an Airbnb, all right? Airbnb's up 9 because of travel. Now, I mean, if you think there's travel and you think there's commerce, then you should be thinking about the transports. And I think the transports are a great place to be.
All right, Jim. Now, we did get a couple earnings today. Best Buy, better than expected quarter, 20% comparable store sales growth, which is great. Now, you've been a big believer in this company throughout the pandemic. What do you think about Best Buy here and where it could possibly go?
Corey Barrett is an amazing CEO. She had a vision that there could be supply chain problems. So she spent a lot of money over several years making it so that the supply chain problems, if they do occur, wouldn't hurt her company. I'm calling that visionary. She is reluctant to take credit. I've got to give her credit. I know that they hurt them a couple of quarters by spending so much money on supply chain, but this is what happens. You get 20% growth because you have the product. You have home theater, you have computers, you have appliances, and she should be saluted, and that stock is not done going higher.
Yeah, Best Buy is higher, but really the stock of the day today is Palo Alto. That stock is surging after a better than expected quarterly report and upbeat guidance as well. You were the CEO, Nikesh. You were the CEO, Nikesh Arora, on last night. What did he have to say?
Nikesh has look, I'm not saying that anyone could have a vision about a pandemic, but what you really want to do is be covered at home, be covered in the central office, and be covered in the cloud. It just so happens that Palo Alto never lost its leadership in firewall, added a bunch of companies that make it so that it's much more secure, and if you got a $100 million contract, which is, he's giving you soup to nuts. Nobody else can give you soup to nuts, and that's quite impressive. Don't buy the others because of Palo Alto going up. Palo Alto's going up because it's taking share. And Nikesh Arora is one vicious competitor. He bought a ton of stock at 200, came on Mad Money and said, listen, I bought it. Then stock to 180. He said, listen, just double down. I don't care. Nikesh was the first guy who told me about the hybrid economy was going to come. I laughed, but I went with it hard because he was saying, listen, this thing's not going away. And everyone's going to work at home, and we're going to have to build up security because that's a really big vulnerability point. So these other guys who were just protecting the cloud missed the boat. And what you can see is the stock of a company that thought about, that had a thoughtful approach to people working at home, people working in central office, and people sending things to the cloud. Very well done.
Yeah, great quarter from Palo Alto. Now, Jim, on a different note, breaking up is sometimes hard to do, and that's a topic you explored last night on Mad Money. But in other cases, it could create a lot of value, and you explored the two recent spinoffs in the market between Victoria's Secret and Bath & Body Works, as well as XPO Logistics and GXO Logistics. Now, we can get your takes on the stock, but from an educational perspective, how can you identify when a company could be worth more split into two versus as a whole?
It's a great question, and I think the way you do it is you have to read the conference calls and get the tenor of when a CEO meets with a publicly traded or brokerage. Brad Jacobs, and thank you, Brad, for the nice note last night. You sent me. Brad Jacobs correctly understood after getting feedback after feedback that the companies didn't necessarily belong with each other, and people wanting an infrastructure play because there really isn't one other than Zebra. He recognized, you know what, I've got the pure play that people want. Let's just give it to them, and I'll take over last mile. It was in reaction. Some people really listen to shareholders, and that was in reaction to what shareholders told him. Many people are not flexible enough. They'll listen, they'll say, then they'll say, if they step away, what do these people know? They don't know anything. That was not how Brad Jacobs viewed it. Brad said, I've created these two companies. I think they work better together, but I've listened to investors. They don't think it does, so I'm breaking them up. It's very different from whatever's going with Limited. By the way, L Brands, I was dissatisfied that the fact that Morgan Stanley downgraded Victoria's Secret today. I am much more with JP Morgan's Matthew Boss that's valuable, but that was just a totally broken company. And Bath & Body Works was good, and Victoria's Secret was bad, but they're fixing Victoria's Secret. Charles at a very low price. Quite different from Brad Jacobs, who did it from a position of strength, not a position of weakness.
Yeah, he's really a serial value creator. He's done it with his other companies that he's done in the past.
Yeah, I got to tell you, when you meet a guy like Brad Jacobs, and of course now everything's virtual, it sucks, but when he would come on air and you would talk to him, what he would say is, any ideas? I want to bring up value. What do you think? How about this Nordlinger acquisition? How about this? How about that? I mean, one time I remember saying to him, look, I got a place in Italy. I can't get, where's the UPS Nordlinger? Where is your company, XPO? And he said, well, Italy is a very tough place to do business. But boy, he moved into Europe at the bottom. That was very, very smart. He came on when he moved in. And I said, are you nuts? I mean, Europe is in free fall. And he goes, well, that's when you buy. Totally right. When he bought, Conway, remarkable. But the thing that he really did the best was figure out that warehouses need to be automated. And now all the big guns use him. He's also one of the nicest guys. He's a very smart, good guy. I remember speaking to someone who had done business with him and just said, oh, he's the right guy. Because sometimes you're talking to a guy and your stock goes down, and there was a terrible short rate on his company by an outfit that really said savage things. Savage. And I went with Brad point. I said, Brad, how about this? 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 It was all crap. And it drove the stock down 25 points. And like Brad said, listen, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, I don't know what to do. I can come on and defend, but it just maybe just creates another wave of nonsense. And he said, well, look, I'll show you. Let's just do it. Let's show the results. The other guy that happened to was J2 Global, Vivek Shah. He had a hit run. He had a hit on him that cut, almost cut his stock in half. And he said, I said, you want to come on? He goes, no. Let the results speak for themselves. J2 Global and XPO. 2 ways to be able to handle the short raids. Same. Show them. Don't talk. Show. And that's to be commended.
Yeah, and I guess the 2 lessons there as well is listen to the conference calls, listen to what management, look for management teams that are focused on bringing out value, and as well as track record really matters.
Go out and look at the, if you want to, look at the press releases he put out ahead of this. And I had GXO on the day. I mean, GXO's up 25 points since when he was on. But take a very close look at some of the things he was saying. Because he was saying, listen, I don't know whether to sell the company. I don't know whether to split the company. What do you think? He's basically saying, what do you think? And I wish many more CEOs were as open as he is. Brad Jacobs, good guy.
All right, Jim, let's talk about another company who perhaps needs to be a little bit more open. They are under, the FAA has just announced a new broader investigation into and how employees are handling some of their approval processes. Now, look, you've been really vocal about how Boeing needs to get more transparent. They need to do better by their employees, by just the manufacturing process in general. This is an Action Alerts Plus name. We can save more talk for our video right after this. But what do you think?
I was going back to Matt Horween today, my writing partner, and Matt said, look, Jim, it's up. And the fact that it's up tells me that maybe this is finally a story that is not a story. I've been waiting for that. I mean, almost every time that anything comes out about Boeing and it's negative, it crushes the stock. It did not crush it today. The company itself did not flag any of this. They usually had like a heads up it's going to happen. So I thought that the stock would be down, but it's not. And that's very encouraging for Boeing shareholders because it says, look, maybe there are issues involving disgruntled people, unions who are angry, and
it's been a tough couple years for them.
It's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare. So I am quite heartened that it's up. That's a very good sign.
So so when the stock goes up on bad news, that's a potential sign that
it's gotten the Pfizer vaccine, and maybe tomorrow it gets the Moderna triple.
All right, well, I know we'll be talking about Boeing in detail tomorrow during our Action Alerts Plus monthly members-only conference call. Give us a sneak peek about what else you plan on talking about.
Well, I mean, I want to talk about companies that change their stripes and companies that are in flux, companies that, we'll talk about Win, companies where the facts change and you have to change with them. Way too often, someone will say on Twitter, some of the horrible people, not the people who are urging sodomy, which is really outrageous, and I mean that. I'm going to say it because that's what they're suggesting. But when you have companies that literally recognize, let's say it's a steel company, okay, and the steel company is what keeps happening is they're raising rates, but the stock stays at the same price. Well, that's wrong. That's just wrong. That just doesn't happen. Okay, and when it does happen, it's a tremendous anomaly, and you have to jump on it. I said that we had to do it last time, and now it's happening. And I obviously want to talk Win. I think it's also worth talking about Wells Fargo in the same light and Advanced Micro. These are all doing the right thing.
Well, you'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out more. That's the show for today, everyone. I'm Jeff Marks.
Let me just say,
yes,
this is really important.
Please.
These conference calls are like nothing you've ever seen. I talk about my mistakes. We go over every single stock because it is a recommended list. No hedge fund does this. No mutual fund does this. No brokerage house does this. So just sample it. I give everything I can. I'm working Saturday, Sunday, Monday, now Tuesday, on trying to find things to say about each position and trying to come up with a theme. And this theme is when the facts change, you have to change too.
Yeah, so you got to tune in because this is obviously a huge lesson in investing and how to build out a portfolio over the long term and build well.
Facts just change and win. You got to change with them.
All right, that's the show, everyone, for today. We're going to go to our Action Alerts Plus video right after this. I'm Jeff Marks. We'll see you tomorrow.